I love these.
You're late for me, man.
Ner daluk me'erev Shabbos le'erev Shabbos. Ve'avo Yitzchak ola Sarah imo. And Yitzchak brought Rivka into his mother's tent. V'Rashi v'naz dugmas Sarah imo. Shekol zman shesara kayemes haya ner daluk me'erev Shabbos le'erev Shabbos u'bracha mitzuya be'isa v'anan kashur ala ohel u'mishemesa pasku. Shabasa Rivka chozru. So Rashi tells us the well-known medrash that when Sarah lived while she was alive, there was always a number of miracles that continued to exist in the tent. There was a candle that was lit the entire week, the Ner Tamid. You had bracha mitzui be'isa. The dough was good. It was good quality challah. And there was a cloud that was connected to the ohel. When she died, these stopped. When Rivka came to the tent, they returned. What's interesting about this is these are actually parallels to the Beis Hamikdash. You have the Ner Tamid. You have the Shekhinah, the cloud, and you have the Lechem Apanim. You have the bread. So all that is also represented in the Mishkan as well.
Sarah was first, and then the Mishkan was like.
Right, right.
Was it related to her?
The Mishkan?
Or like,
well, no, the Midrashim draw that connection. Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
It's not my idea. Hamuvan apashot shel dvarim shezachsa Rivka tzedek lios mamshichas darka shel Sarah imenu. We see that Rivka continued. She picked up where Sarah had finished. The alkain chazru loola gimel hadvarim, and as such, three things return to the tent. Amam yishler moz. Oh, we can hint further. The gimel yesodos behanhaga lebeis hayehudi. There are three foundations for the conduct in the Jewish home. Haramuzim begimel in yanamelu, which are hinted in these three aspects. Tzricha kol akeres habayis lidog shiu kayamim besof beis hatamid. Anyone who cares for a house has to worry about these three yesodos. What are they? Harishonu ner dalo. They'll like me'erev Shabbos. The candles lit constantly. Hainu shreichiu gamar lahadlik ner me'erev Shabbos. You have to light the erev Shabbos candle, the habakas neros. Tama mitzvah mishum shalom bayis. And the whole reason behind this is the Gemara points out is because of shalom bayis. That if you have a candle lit in a room that's otherwise dark, people aren't bumping into things. They can see where they're going. They know where everything belongs. It's not right. So it's practical shalom. Shalom bayis means you can see where you're going, right? I walk out in the morning and my steps have different items in them, right? So if I don't turn the light on, if I turn the light on, I wake people up. If I don't turn the light on, I fall down the stairs and break my neck. So I usually will close the door and I'll turn the light on anyway. But the point is that without a light, right, it's not very shalomdik. That's the one opinion. There's another opinion that the candles, that the reason why a woman likes candles, if there's a woman and a man, a woman likes it because she's the one who tends to be more responsible for shalom bayis, and more of a woman's nature than a man's nature to make peace. The other opinion is that she extinguished the orosh shel adam, that she initiated the chet of the chet of eitz hadas tov ra, and therefore she has a responsibility to kindle that light. Those are the two opinions we have. Okay. But it's a mitzvah for everyone. So whoever lives in the home, whether a man or a woman, if you're living single, so you have to light candles. So that's number one. Erev Shabbos, mitzvah shalom bayis. She'im lo yesh choshech b'bayis, efshar likashol v'chol minei chafetzim. If there's darkness, you'll trip on everything. V'kalos efshar sheyatza mizeh merivos rogas. And if you're tripping on everything and you don't know where anything is, you're going to fight. It's going to be a lack of shalom, right? So that's number one. Shabbos Kodesh, Shalom Bayis. And Shalom Bayis is especially important on Shabbos. We already spoke about not becoming angry on Shabbos. The corollary of that is to pursue peace on Shabbos. And Erev Shabbos and Tzadikim, they would be lit all week long. And Shalom Bayis Shorer Lo Rak Shabbos Kodesh Shaz Mit Asefet Kol Mishpacha B'Smeichem Zebezev Shochim Tlos Olam. That on Shabbos the family gathers, they're happy, they rejoice in one another's presence, they forget the troubles of the world. Even the entire week. She'ovdim kasha, you're working really hard. Every little thing that doesn't go your way is likely to elicit anger and fighting and to generate a machlokas in the house. Etzel tzadikim, ner hashalom, shalva, the theme of peace, of tranquility, shal erev Shabbos, that is dolik meir kol yimei shavua. That lights the entire week, ad l'Shabbos haba, up until the week to come. So if you want to have like a Shabbos type of home, right? It's a home that always has shalom, and that's symbolized in the ner. Okay, then we have the second element. Bracha mitsuya be'isa. Blessing is found in the dough. Kivar Amru Chazal, the rabbis taught us. The Inyan Hotzah Shabbos, when it comes to preparation for Shabbos, the Yom Tov Kolm Zonosov, and the money you spend to purchase food and supplies, Kolm Zonosov Adam Kitsuvim Lo Rosh Hashanah Ved Yom Kippur. All of your money has been designated from Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur. Except for the money you spend on Shabbos and Yom Tov. That's not part of the cheshbon. Spending money towards yeshiva and schools, for Jewish schools. She'im pachas pochsin lo v'im hosif mosifin lo. It doesn't come out of your own cheshbon, your own bank account. Hainu shebishlosha dvarim elu. In other words, you could spend more money. You can buy a more elaborate Shabbos meal. You could spend more money on a Torah education, right? And it's not going to come out of your cheshbon. But if you want to buy a few extra times going out to eat during the week, that is part of your cheshbon. You may have a cap, and if you spend that money, it won't be available for other expenses during the week. Right, we've established this earlier on in the Sefer. L'kach, and therefore I'm saying, so you need a blessing in the dough. Hainu, that's what they call it, dough, money. Hainu hotzo kitana hamaspekes lisman rav. So what is they? It's the little expense that is enough for a long time. Don't waste money on things that are not necessary in your life. You spend money you don't have, you're going to have debt. And of course, extra expenses and extra debt destroy the quiet, the nafshi, the soul that needs to relax. How can you relax? You're always in debt. You have to pay back the credit cards, you have to pay back this one, that loan, and that one, and this one's out to get you. Do what you need to do for necessity. So, in other words, if you're careful with your money, it's good for you. But on Shabbos, you don't have to do that. Shalom Bais is memela. The anan kashura oil, and the cloud that was above the tent. Here, some say that refers to mirames al inin hatzniut, modesty. Kilu anan shore al habais umechasosa, like the cloud which is covering up the house, mein aroim, so no one from the outside can see. V'zeh kolel kama pratim henk pshuto inyan kol kivod about melech penima. Particularly when it comes to the laws of the hashkafa, the philosophy of modesty, of tzniut, we invoke the pasuk kol kivod about melech penima, that the glory of the daughter of the king is the inner beauty, the inner charm. In kol hamishtamea mina pasuk v'hein shalol saper b'chutz minyanei abayis. Interesting. This is actually, it's not strictly tznius matters, but it's tzniut in your dibur. Don't take things that are sort of inside matters and start talking about them outside of the house to other people. Make sure that your voice is not heard on the outside of the house, right?
It's easy for me now. I live by myself.
Right.
I'm scared that the whole world can hear my girls. Especially if I'm cutting their toenails, I want to scream out the window like, I'm not murdering anyone, I swear.
That's a universal thing, don't worry.
Oh my God.
Everybody goes through that.
It's hilarious to me.
But this idea that that not to be heard, I remember we were living in in the Grus Kolel, and there were like these apartments, paper thin walls.
Mhm.
And I was always so surprised that so many couples made it through like that. They're usually the first year or two of marriage. They made it through like living in such conditions. You have to like walk around like a mouse, so quietly.
You live there with your wife?
Yeah, everyone. I knew, every rabbi I know. We went there for the year. It's great. Free food. You go to the cafeteria, bring food, and bring it home to your little apartment.
Were your kids born in
Yeah,
it?
Ziggy was born right before we went. So there were only like the layouts, and these were funny. There was like these 1 bedroom apartments and then the 5 bedroom apartments. Those were the only two options. Yeah.
The weirdest apartment there, like the bathroom was open or something. It was like
Yeah.
they used to bathe the kids like in the living room. It was weird.
Right.
It was weird.
It was just a shower. So you have to have one of these tubs.
Steps. Everybody with all those babies and like 5
We were like
sets of
2 floors
steps
up.
going
It wasn't
up and
bad.
down to do anything.
My daughter has
Crazy.
The brands were there, carriages were there.
at the same time.
Yeah. So we turned and Ziggy didn't go to sleep, so we turned our bedroom into his room. I don't know why we did this. And then I bought one of these like those divider walls.
Yeah, yeah.
And we just like divided our living room into a bedroom and it's fine. Okay, the Anan Kashur al Miramis al that's modesty, and he says that the main is not to raise your voice outside, so that's heard outside the house. They kol elu ha'inyonim nizke l'siyat l'shmai meruba. That's the formula for success, and it's all hinted on Shabbos. Ner doleg mishavos Shabbos shalom b'achlam beitenu. Racham mitzubi isa shtia parnasa berevach. And Anan shel shchina kedosha tahora. Yeah, mitzuyim etzleinu in the cloud of the Shechina, holiness of purity will be upon us. Hashem yizachenu. So that's a sweet little idea. You can use that as Sheva Brachos if you're ever speaking of Sheva Brachos, and say that over. Sheva Brachos Torah. Okay. Next one is called Brit Olam. Is this one you have here in English? Uviyom HaShabbos Shnei Kvasim V'Nitanat Mimim. He begins with a quote from the Tosafos.
Tell the portion is on Shabbat. That's portion outline.
Oh, is yours different?
Yeah.
That happened before.
And it happened last week too.
Yeah. Let's don't skip it just because we don't have it.
All right, right.
Mm.
Just trying to find it.
Yeah, we on to 7 use it.
Well,
Well, we are, we don't know if it matches us.
Oh, okay.
Because one of the
No,
ones
that's
that
what
might
was
do,
saying.
it didn't be, it didn't, if they didn't align. I think this might be the same thing. It's just
Okay.
handled differently.
Let's see what happens. On Shabbos, we have the carbon of Shnei Kvasim, 2 lambs, 2 sheep, a year old to me. Bali Tosfos, if you kind of medrash, the
Yes.
a site the following medrash. Shamdu Chazal, Al Kach, B'Shebechol Musaf and Lo Timsa Musaf Muat, Mo Musaf Yom Shabbos. That we find the most minimalist version of a Musaf is the Musaf of Shabbos. Arei B'Chol HaMusaf and Yesh Levachot Parechad, that all Musaf we have at least 1 cow, va'ayilachad, and 1 ram, ushiba kvasim, and 7 sheep. The ilu b'Shabbos makrim shnei kvasim bilvad. All we have is 2 kvasim, and that's it. So Shabbos is a very small carbon. Amachazal shekara tagar al kol al kach Shabbos. It's loaner of Nekadosh Baruch Hu. Almost Shabbos got upset. Why? No fair. It's no fair. Why do I get so little? Right? Shabbos turned to Hashem and said, "Why do I have the smallest carbon?" Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu. Kadosh Baruch Hu turned to Shabbos and says, "Dafka zeh carbon aroyla. This is appropriate. If you should call Maser Shabbos kefulim him, everything on Shabbos is double. Shir kaful. We have a double song. Mizmor Shir Liyom Shabbos. Right with that. It's kaful, I guess, because it's Mizmor Shir. One kaful.
Yeah, double expression of song.
Yeah.
Song.
Right, Mizmor and Shir, right? But we have double oneg. Karata l'Shabbos oneg. L'Viklosh Hashem Mechubad. Onish kaful, double punishment. Chaleha mos yumats, the double language mot yumat, right? Lechem kaful, lechem mishnah, the two breads, right? Used to fall on Friday. V'ila roya karban Shabbos dios kaful, so the carbon is double. Shnei kvasim tamimim is really what? Really goes halfway, double the distance. I still don't know how that gets us anywhere. We were at 7 kvasim during the week, and Musa for the other days.
7 kvasim during the week.
We said regular Musa is parachad ayelchad shiva kvasim.
The way he says it here is so the
During
Shabbos
the
has the
week-
most modest musaf offering of the Torah.
Understood, but his original question was framed that normally Musafin have at least a parachad ayelchad shiva kvasim. Shabbos you only have
He
2
doesn't say
kvasim.
that here.
So if you double that, you still don't have 7. But okay.
So you're saying for every day of the week?
No, I'm saying the Shabbos is still not that impressive when you compare it to even if you
Seven, but
double
you're
2.
doubling what a normal day would be, is what I got out of this. So
Yeah.
another normal day, you would have 2 kvasim, so you're doubling it by having 2 more kvasim. Okay, that's
Okay.
how I understand.
Okay, let's go further. So Mashal Melech Shamar Lavadav Hechinu Suda Levni, prepare a meal for my son. Hechinu Machalim Kachak, they prepared such and such a meal. Achar Kach Tziva Lahachin Suda Lo Atmo, so please prepare Suda for me. Amru Lo Avadav Ma Nachon Nachin Lamelech, what shall we prepare for the king? Amar Lahem Livni Ma Hachnas He Kantem, what have you prepared for my son? Amar Lo Kach L'Kach. Such and such. Achinu liyoso davar. Prepare for me the same thing. Lo yoter misheha ikantem livni. Not any more than what you prepared for my son. So what Kodesh Baruch Hu is saying is, I want to be part of that meal. You made 2 kvasim. Now I want the same thing. So Hashem is joining with us.
So
After the
if
fire.
we ate too much food on Shabbos, and I have to eat it.
That's
the rest
why.
of the week.
It's always
Wait,
left over.
So this is saying,
We do it, I do it.
what's the part for us? Because korbanot are for Hashem.
Yeah, it's a strange mushal. Yeah.
Okay.
After Lafarish, the move on at the bottom. Let's understand. The Hinei Shabbos Kodesh Nikras Bris Olam. It's a covenant. It's the time we forge the connection with Hashem. That Kesher Akiruv who Ad Kidei Kach Kodesh Baruch Hu Yocham Matim Atzmo Elenu. Come up and Mashal Melech Shemirov Tibasol Livno Eino Machin Latzmo. He doesn't prepare himself a Suda. Kiara Melech Shikfar Lo Yuchal Lios Bitsavsa Im Beno Machmas Gedulas Ma'amad. Normally, you think if someone is so high, they won't go and participate with everyone else. It was like these at fancy gatherings that good knows how to just they make a big dais and they put the rabbis up front on the table. And like monorthodox gatherings, the rabbis at the table, everyone else. I would just regular tables. So whenever I'm invited to one of these big, I go to gatherings, and I say, "Oh, we saved the row of seat up front." I'm always uncomfortable like that. Someone once said to me when the RCA was advertising burial plots in Israel for like a rabbinic section. And a Rabbi mine said to me that there are 2 kinds of rabbis. There are those who want to be buried with other rabbis, and the ones who are buried with their congregants. And then there are rabbis who are buried by their congregants. Yeah, but
It's just
I think it's a profound statement about like just the attitude. Anyway, so most people who are manhig, they see themselves above, right? They're not part of the they don't feel they're part of it. And he's saying that Kadosh Baruch Hu demonstrates for us that's not the case. What does Hashem do? He comes to the meal. It's part of who we are, right? Yes, we turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's above us by so many levels of magnitude, right? But he's mitaneg b'kirvaso. He enjoys our presence. He enjoys being part of us. This is the way Shabbos is double. Hainu zugot pairs. Echad Hashem. Ve'echad lanu. One for us, one for God. That's why everything's pairs. Shtei alechem, right? Not shtei alechem, sorry, lechem mishnah. You have the mechalemos yumas, karaso shamas oneg, mizmor shir. All the double languages that we saw in the first paragraph, they're all double because one's for Hashem, one's for us.
when I said before, like what's for us of the 2, he does say here.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think you said, yeah, he said one's for Hashem, one's for.
That's just now he's explaining, right?
Oh, okay.
Except then
Shema,
you should only eat one of the challahs. You should eat both challahs.
Well,
With one is for Hashem.
I usually end up having one for the next meal, but you're right.
Is that true? You're not supposed to.
No.
Oh.
I'm just saying.
It's symbolic.
If
No.
for Hashem, then you know.
Sham hayu shnei keruvim. I'm eating for 2, right? I'm eating for
Yeah.
5. Sham hayu shnei keruvim chovkim zed zeh. We know that on Shabbos in the Mikdash that the keruvim would face one another, but they would embrace one another. Kerov echad laHashem echarov echad liYisrael. A keruv echad, sorry. One cherub for Hashem, one for Israel, and they embrace one another. Nechar l'bayis. What happened when the base of Mikdash was destroyed? Yehiba zu nikeres b'Shabbos Kodesh. At that moment, those kruvim embraced one another. It's strange because if you look at the psukim, Divrei Yamim, and earlier on in Tanakh, sometimes the kruvim are described as facing forward, facing one another. In one case, they're described as facing like forward. So which one was it, right? There are two different pictures written around the same time of the kruvim, whether they're facing forward or whether they're facing each other. And the Gemara points out that when the Israel did Osin Ratzon Shamakom, when they did the will of God, the kruvim would face one another. When they didn't do the will of God, they faced outward. It's a miracle. They kind of turned. They were on like a Harry Potter. Right? And so then the Gemara says, but when the basement was destroyed, not only were they facing each other, they embraced one another. A miracle happened. Like kruvim kind of grabbed hold of each other. It's very sweet. So he's referring to that here.
Is it the Mona Lisa that the eyes are on you
Yeah.
no matter where you are in the room?
He's really a guard. So the eyes are cut out, and so the guard is looking both ways. I went there in the Louvre, and I got to say that painting was much smaller than I expected.
It's his appearance also.
Yeah.
A postage stamp.
It was
Small.
also,
And then
you
that,
can't
it
get
wasn't
next
that
to it.
impressive. I mean, it was like, okay.
It's famous.
It's just because it's famous, because it
Yeah.
gets stolen.
Was it stolen?
Yeah, that's how
Yeah,
it became
yeah, yeah,
famous.
yeah.
It's because it was stolen and then returned
It was stolen for a long time.
for a while, and then
Yeah.
it was returned.
Yeah.
It's great.
And
It's
that
great. Yeah.
people were like,
something
maybe it was a
rare.
publicity stunt.
I can't get it. You got it. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. V'lachein kasher chalim shiva asar b'tamos.
It's like a dustman.
Decoration. When the 17th of Tammuz, the Tisha B'av, the Shabbos falls on Shabbos, ochel and basar shosim yain. We eat meat and drink wine. Vein marim simin avelus hacharm bayis. We don't show a sign of mourning for the Charm Bayis, even though the day is a terrible day. The Shabbos he atzma dugmas Beis Hamikdash. Shabbos became the Beis Hamikdash. Shabbos is the moment in which the kruvim are embracing. Shebiyom zeh chibas Beis Hamikdash chozeres lanu al yedei mitzvah shmir Shabbos. Remember, the whole thing we've been talking about in the Sefer is that the Shabbos is like a mikdash. Well, even though the temple is destroyed, we don't mourn on Shabbos. Why? You never mourn on Shabbos at all. Not Avelus Prati and not Avelus Yeshana for the base of Mikdash, because the Shabbos is the Mikdash of Zman. We make kach, and because of this, Kama Tzarch Lizar Me'od B'Chavod Shabbos. We have to be very careful about the honor of Shabbos. Not that we shouldn't violate it in some way. Because there are so many halachos. And every Jew has to place a great emphasis on the study of the laws of Shabbos. Don't forget where you are. You're in the Mikdash. And when you start engaging in things that are not Shabbosdik, the whole day for matters of kedusha, for study of Torah. Then we'll have many of the blessings. I find it's a lot easier in the short Shabbos because I wake up, I go and I'll speak at a bunch of minyanim, I'll come back for lunch, and I run out to learn the kids and Michelle Shudis. So it's basically like yeah. You don't have any interruption. The summer is tough to keep this up.
Yeah, but what about Friday night? So that's also.
Yeah, they don't egg. They don't egg to go to.
Men have it easy.
Every week there's a no.
Well, we have Women's Zone coming up in a week and a half with one of the most important founders of Talmud Torah today for women, Chana Henkin. She's going to be here in a week and
She's good.
She's coming. Oh, she's not speaking the Oneg, but she's coming for Shabbos. She's speaking in the morning. Chana Henkin speaking in the morning, and Tara Ice, who runs also the Nishma Seminary. She's coming. So she's amazing. Also, she's speaking at the Oneg. I don't know if Chana Henkin will be there. I think it'll be at the Rishel's house Friday night,
Next Shabbos?
January 5th.
Oh, okay.
You're out here.
No, I have my girls, but yeah.
Bring them in the morning to the drasha. You're here, Chana Henkin.
In the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we
And then she's going to speak and Michelle Shudis, and it'll be anyway. She's an amazing person, and I think she's hard to get also not only because of the situation in Israel, but she takes care of her grandkids every other week. Remember her son was murdered with the son and daughter.
Mhm.
They were killed. Eitam Henkin was a great budding scholar, one of the great Talmidei Chachamim, and was killed, and so she basically took on the kids. for every Shabbos.
He was killed during a terror attack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
years ago. Okay, along those lines, we're now on Hashras Hashkina b'Shabbos. We're talking about the Beis Hamikdash, and one of the things that the features of the Mishkan and the Mikdash was the Shekhinah. And if Shabbos is like a Mishkan, or a Mikdash, so you have the Shekhinah, divine presence, residing among us, especially on that day. Fine. So Vayar Moshe et kol hamalacha v'nei asu osa kasher tzivah Hashem ken asu v'yivarech osam Moshe. Moshe saw the malacha and he saw that it was done, and that's what Moshe did. V'harash Rashi ma barchem. What was the bracha? There was a bracha v'yivarech osam Moshe. Yiratzon shtish shechina b'ma'aseh yadechem v'ino ma'ashem alkeinu aleinu ma'aseh yadinu konena aleinu. That pasuk, right? Where Noam. So may it be your will, the Shekhinah should be shoreh in your handiwork. You see that they've just built this beautiful structure and a bracha is made, and this is a great thing to say if you're speaking at a Chanukas Habayis. Shetishra Shekhinah b'ma'aseh yadechem v'yihi Noam Hashem Elokeinu aleinu ma'aseh yadinu konena aleinu. It's a bracha of our handiwork. Actually, every Motzei Shabbos, first 3/4 of the shul files out, and then we say V'yitain Lacha. They're not required to leave; they do leave. V'yitain Lacha are beautiful psukim of bracha that a handful of shuls still say. I grew up saying it; we still say it, and because of the many requests to cancel it, that's why I will not cancel it. It's really amazing, and it opens up. Actually, first we do V'noam, then we do V'yitain Lacha. V'noam, we say this verse, right, and then the V'yitain Lacha verses are all bracha for our week. And one of the paragraphs is actually all about Pidyon Shvuyim. So now, especially, we can try to say it. A Perish HaPashut, Shemoshe Rabbeinu, if you want a bracha for your week, you see V'nom. The only weeks we don't say V'nom on Motzei Shabbos is if you don't have a full week of Shabbos, a full week with that from Shabbos to Shabbos. In other words, you're interrupted by a Yontif. If you have a Yontif, you don't say V'nom because you can't say that the whole week is going to be a week of Avodah. So the simple explanation, Moshe Rabbeinu Berech et Bnei Yisrael al ha-hishtad busam v'masa mishkan. That the Bnei Yisrael were blessed for their actions in the Mishkan. Well, there's an emphasis here. Kasher tzila Hashem kain asu. Just as God commanded, so we did. Shem be'emes hayu mitzuv masos asimach mitzvos Hashem mayu misatzlim hayu bezeh aver gedolah. They were commanded to do their work, and had they not done it, they would have been lazy, and that would have been a great avera. Aval kasher asu ha'itiv, when they did a great job, Hashem, as Hashem commanded, He'ir lahem Moshe illuminated for them, showed them upon him. He lit his face and he gave them a positive review, birchem positive response, and blessed them. Shenoam Hashem Yisrael, and the pleasantness of God should be shoreh upon you. Bezeh limud gadol lanu. This teaches us something important. What does it teach us? Halacha l'maaseh, practical laws. Bebayis. Ager zabayis mechina zabayis betuv tam. Someone prepared a great meal, delicious meal. Lifamim betircha gedola. Erev Shabbos amelo yishtavlu hachi machal teimim leminayim. Linkotet abayit im kol hatorecha. How much work it is to get ready for Shabbos, to prepare a nice meal, to clean the house up properly. Karoch bezeh. Harbe pamim nichnesses b'libeinu. Achusha harei zeh tafkida v'chelka ba'avodos bayis. Shochim laha'ir la hanim l'racha shalom Hashem yishkom asideh. Forget that whoever did all the work to get it ready, usually could be the akeret habayit, the woman of the house. We say, that's her job. Forget to say, what do you wow, you did an amazing thing. I can't believe you pulled this off, right? Of course you pulled it off, right? It's your job. You do it every week. No, you recognize it doesn't happen automatically. Okay, Nilmad me Moshe Rabbeinu shebirech et Yisrael shtishra shchim b'socham shezeh bracha nifla b'yoser cholot et kol bracha b'neimim kula. I'm going to try this bracha. Let's try it. See if it works. All right. U'parasha Shmini. Achar shemoshe v'Aaron gamru es avodas hakorbanos. After they finished the korbanos, shemishkan ksiv v'yavo Moshe v'Aaron es el ol moed. Came into the tent of meeting. Yatzu v'yivarchu et ha'am. They went and they blessed the nation. Rashi says also, what did he bless them? These two brachos. Shetishra shchina masiyadem. Shed the shchina in their actions. V'yidoam Hashem aleinu, and Hashem should be pleasant with us. And shayu ru'uyim lebracha pa'amayim. Would you get the bracha twice? Rishona kasher yishtadu be'etzem b'inyan binyan hamishkan, when they work on the structure of the mishkan and all the kalim. And the second time that Moshe and Aaron are mishtamish b'ma'aseh yidei mefalel. So twice in the Torah is the bracha given to the Jewish people, right? Once when they build the Mishkan, and the second time is when Moshe and Aaron are using the Beis Hamikdash, and they offer the first karbanos for the first time. They turn and bless the Jewish people. So that's interesting. I never thought of this. People in our household that they work on the Beis Hamikdash, me'at halo hu habayis Yehudi. The Jewish home, the Shabbos home, is a mikdash me'at. There it says in Chazal, if they're lucky, if they pursue peace, it's like they have Shechina among them. That's why everyone points out this is a Shav Bracha, a word you can't use because everyone uses it. It's well trodden territory. Ish Isha, that they have Aleph Yud Shin, you have Aleph Shin Hey. They put a Yud there, but it's not the way you spell it. And the two have in common Aleph and Shin, which is fire. Passion is grape. Fire is dangerous. Also, so how do you channel that? Well, if you take the letters they don't have in common, that's the Yud and the Hey, then you get Ko, Shem Hashem. So if you bring Hashem into the relationship, then the fire becomes a positive fire. If you don't, then it's just fire, it's just heat. So that's the Shechina b'nei. Shalom b'nei. Kol shekain b'Shabbos Kodesh hi atzma mikdash Hashem mamash. So Shabbos and the home, by extension, are a little mikdash, and therefore, Migia habracha v'nimos haras hapanim b'chiflaim. We get the double bracha, the one we spoke about in the previous chapter. Rishona miyad, the erev Shabbos. The first one happens when you finish the work, and we turn, we give a bracha. Bakol omed mukan lasudish. Look, right? We look and all the handiwork is ready. I was always wondering why we repeat that line. We say Masia Denu Koneu, right? It's repeated. The Shenis, Belaila Acher Suda, Asher Gamru, Esavodas HaKodesh. Once the meal is done, once the meal is being consumed, and you finish the avodah, and now Moshe and Aaron are in the mikdash, right? And what do? They give another bracha. So the ta'amo, the ochel, and they taste and they eat it. Mikol hamachal ha'teimim, from all the tasty foods. Ra'ui levarech pam shenis. Then you could bless a second time. Amu chazal, hakofer b'tovasel shechatero. If you deny the good that your friend has done for you, if you don't properly thank that friend, sofel shekofer b'tovasel shechatero. In the end, you're going to turn and not acknowledge God either.
You're going to what?
Not acknowledge God either. If you're a person who's kofet tov, if you don't say thank you to other people, you're not going to say thank you to God either. We learn the idea of hakar satov from God to Adam, and it affects us vice versa. Just as we have to bless twice, when you eat a food, you make a bracha beforehand, and when you do, you make a bracha acharona afterwards. Makir talk to your friend. Someone invites you for a meal. Wow, look at this bread. Then when you finish it, to say thank you again. Seems like a double pasha. Seems obvious, but it's actually a halacha, and we learned this out from here, from the Mishkan. One before the good act, and one afterwards. Moshe Berach, Moshe Yisrael, just Moshe blessed the Jewish people twice. Once when they completed their work, and again when he used the Mishkan. Chazal, ma bracha barchem. What bracha did he give them? Yirotzen shelo yishlot oyev b'masidechem. Your enemy should not rule over your handiwork. Meaning, you built this beautiful structure, this beautiful shul, may not turn into a church or a mosque one day. It should be yours, right? You should be able to be zocheh to use it. I hope no one else runs over the Beis Hamikdash and takes it over. And that's what happened. Because the Mishkan was never taken over. It was conquered temporarily. If you remember, the Aaron was conquered and by the Plishtim, and then they basically was killing everyone off wherever it went.
Yeah, it got hemorrhoids.
Right, exactly. But wherever it went, which they needed the Hachana Hay, preparation H.
Oh my God.
I'm understand. And they and then the Mishkan was being driven home on its own. Someone touched it. Remember, and he died. There's a whole story there. But the point is that the Aaron is really ultimately doesn't end up in foreign hands at all. And after the destruction of the first temple, it was nignaz. It was buried underground, hidden away. Two versions of what happened to it. Some say Indiana Jones found it later on. and it's underground, buried. And there's a story in the Mishnah that one time someone saw a loose tile and he lifted it up. He was curious, and he saw like some light coming from behind the tile, and he died on the spot.
Really?
So don't dig underneath where the dome is. Don't go underneath there. You don't want it. So stories in Indiana Jones probably true, corroborated by the Mishnah, right? The light will kill us, whatever it is. But the point is, it was a special bracha. They hid it away. Also, Beis Yehudi sheish ba'aros panim. There's a tremendous amount of light in the Jewish home. Brachos merubos ben bal ishto. The bracha between a husband and wife. U'li'eladim hatormim kol echad et chelko. Everyone doing their part. Lo yishlot bo'oyev. No enemy. When you all do your part, no one will touch it. Ela simchas olam aroshim tamid. There'll be a simcha forever. So that's so hakar satov. We see practically is important to say thank you, but it's also everyone doing their part and everyone acknowledging that. It seems to be a winning formula from a spiritual perspective as well. I'll share one other idea. I heard from the rabbi a few weeks ago when I was in Israel, it's Rabbi Sobel shared in his shul on Friday night this idea that sometimes we think that we are that magiali, that I deserve, that I don't deserve some sort of thanks that I got. I got a gratitude. Someone did something, acknowledged me for something, and I'm like, I don't deserve it. I do that much work, or it wasn't earned. And whenever you do that, is just think about some time that you think that you had a kavod that you did deserve and you didn't get that. Someone was supposed to say thank you and they didn't say thank you. You're supposed to be praised for something you weren't, or you weren't acknowledged, you were denied or forgotten. So put one in the pocket, and then put the other pocket in. Do an exchange when I was thinking about this over here just now, because he was talking about sort of hakar satov, and it's true with man, it's true with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. So the rabbi went on and said that sometimes in life you feel like, magiali, really deserve this, God. Come on, I need the job, I need the money, I need the deal, I need this, and you're like, God, you owe me. It's not fair. Whenever that happens, remember, there's so many things he gave you that aren't fair. You didn't deserve life. You didn't deserve it. You were just given life. You gifted it, right? It's a freebie. So many things. For most of us, a roof over our head, we have food, we're alive, we're reasonably healthy. So this is a gift. And so when you have that gift, and maybe I didn't deserve that one, and you have one, you say you deserve, maybe you're right, but it's just an exchange. That's all it is. So he was saying over here that the idea between hakar satov, between ben ad mechaver, is parallel to hakar satov between us and Hashem. I think what allows us to be makar tov better is to recognize that even in the moments when we don't feel like we have it, is that exchange of the things that we probably did deserve or didn't deserve and we got anyway. All right.
And I think things sort of even out. Too,
Yeah, so
that people
Yeah.
thank you for things you didn't.
right.
And
It's a
then-
balance.
Yeah.